Bob Chandler's original killer that started the monster truck revolution. Two of the original machines in this sport are prepared for the greatest showdown ever. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, presents Speedworld. Welcome, everybody, to Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. I'm Bret, Kepner, and in just moments, we'll be getting underway with one of the most incredible super truck shootouts ever. Bigfoot, Barefoot, Gravedigger, Equalizer, all in competition for the ultimate King of the Hill battle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kris Chapman at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. The fans are filing in right now where they're going to see some of the most awesome two-wheel drive pulling competition in the world. We're going to see two family teams, the Sullivans and the McPhersons. There's going to be 4 drivers, and they're going to battle it out for the title of family champ.
It'll include one of the toughest rivalries in the entire sport of monster truck racing, Taurus and Barefoot. Plus, don't forget about the rest of the USHRA Association killers already trying to qualify for this event. Welcome to the 1991 Monster Truck Challenge Series. A 300-foot-long straightaway, followed by a 180-degree complete U-turn in a span of only 20 feet, and then a return over the same initial 300-foot distance. It will take a minor miracle for the guys with independent front and rear steering to make that turn just once, let alone through qualifying and eliminations. The new Nightlife Chevrolet makes the turn with some difficulty. In fact, a lot of difficulty as the machine stumbles coming out of that 180-degree turn. The elapsed time, 23.82 seconds. The Bigfoot Ford, this truck and driver, knows what it takes to win this battle. And the original monster truck driver performs it flawlessly. The elapsed time, 12.15 seconds. Also out of the St. Louis, Missouri area is Ray Perkowski's gorgeous new Invader Ford. And any driver who has never had to go through a complete 180-degree turn like this has got to be scared stiff at the prospect of controlling both the steering wheel and the rear axle steering toggle switch at the same time while giving it gas against the clock. 19.70 seconds. The first time ever that Dennis Anderson has brought the incredible Gravedigger Chevrolet to Tampa, Florida, inside Tampa Stadium, and they love every minute of it. The Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina veteran has a huge following of fans in the Southeast, let alone the rest of the country. Problems on the first set of crush cars. Anderson is having a dismal time. Something goes away in the drivetrain or transmission. Ron Dennis in the no-problem Ford Bronco pulls to the starting line. We asked Ron who he thought was going to be the toughest to run against tonight.
All 8 of them, you know, they're going to be tough. I mean, all 8 of us are in the top trucks in the country, so it's anybody's ball game, but I'm going to win. I hope, yes.
Well, you've already seen Ron Dennis win one event on Super Tracks this year. It was in the state of Florida. Maybe that's a good sign. He takes the no-problem Bronco around the turn very nicely. Still, you can see him cranking the wheel in the cockpit. There's a tremendous amount of physical effort. 17.59 seconds. But here's the Big Blue Chevy, the man who has one of the toughest rivalries going with both Bigfoot and the Taurus team. It's Fred Schaefer's Illinois-based Barefoot supercharged Chevy. Absolutely picture perfect. 12.09 seconds. Jack Wilman Jr. at the wheel of Taurus leaves the line and heads for the turn. Another picture-perfect turnaround. A nosedive at the finish line. 12.78 seconds. 19-year-old Greg Holbrook out of the state of Tennessee in the rear-engined Equalizer GMC. And he oversteers coming out of the turn. That's where the physical aspect of this course comes in. The elapsed time, 15.16 seconds for the kid. So Barefoot ends up the winner of the first half of the battle, but with Bigfoot only 0.06 of a second behind and Taurus almost as close. Don't you dare go away. We've seen an incredible qualifying war, but now it's driver versus driver. It'll be Ron Dennis, the hot new pilot of John Moore's Tennessee-based no-problem Ford Bronco, taking on the toughest truck in the business. Fred Schaefer and the Barefoot Chevrolet, your number 1 and 5 qualifiers. A picture-perfect turn, and Fred Schaefer makes it all up in the second half. Dennis got the whole shot, but Schaefer was able to negotiate that awesome spinning turn. That will bring out certainly one of the crowd favorites, the incredible gravedigger of Dennis Anderson and the Taurus Chevrolet. Anderson sideways almost misses the turn entirely. And it's Wilman that pulls off the turn immaculately. And the Taurus Chevrolet goes to round number 2. The brand new 1991 Ford of St. Louis's Ray Perkelski will take on the Ford that made St. Louis famous. Bob Chandler's incredible Bigfoot with the number 1 team driver, Jim Kramer, behind the wheel. They go into the turn, and Kramer has problems in Bigfoot, but Perkelski has bigger problems in the far lane. Kramer actually stumbled coming out of the turn. Perkelski's Invader actually lost fire in the middle of it. We have just received word that apparently the Equalizer Chevrolet suffered damage during its qualifying run, and that means a dream come true for first-year campaigner Smozak in the Nightlife Chevrolet. He will get a free ride, a single run into the semifinal round with the likes of Bigfoot, Barefoot, and Taurus. Having recently purchased this truck from the Wyzoric Racing Team, the new owner of the Nightlife Chevrolet will put it right into the Final Four of his first major U.S. Hot Rod Association Championship event. And he just eases it through the paces to move into the semifinal round. But you want to talk about a war? He's got to take on the Bigfoot Ford. When we return, the Final Four do battle in Tampa. Don't you dare go away.
Kris Chapman in the Spectrum in beautiful Philadelphia. In a moment, college professor turned truck puller Wayne Roush in his yellow Model T and his little red truck will take on a field of 12 of America's most impressive truck pullers. As Chris Hogue out of Alberton, Pennsylvania backs that Chevy S10 pickup truck to the sled, he is hooking up to an additional 3,000 pounds, bringing total weight of that sled to 30,000 pounds. Chris Hogue is making an absolutely beautiful effort, a little bit too much air under those front tires, but still an excellent pull by Chris Hogue out of Alberton, Pennsylvania. The crowd definitely approved. Wayne Roush is college professor turned professional truck puller. Roush has been given the signal that it's okay for him to go whenever he feels prepared. He is into the throttle right now, giving it full throttle. What a bite he's getting. But I don't believe it's going to be enough to take the lead from Chris Hugh. A lot of strategy goes into this. Dick McPherson out of Circleville, Ohio. He's getting an absolutely beautiful run so far, and I believe that's good enough to take the second position. Dick McPherson has got to be pleased with that. Right now, it's Grady Barr and the Heartbreaker. He is going to be putting the horsepower out here in the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Grady Barr, not far to come out of Baltimore, Maryland, is taking the Heartbreaker to the other end of the track. An absolutely beautiful pull by Grady Barr and the Heartbreaker. And coming back again is Wayne Roush in his yellow Model T. Roush not too happy with that first pull of 121.8½ feet. Let's see if he does better with the yellow Model T. That is the 1990 Ranger Good and Plenty truck, driven by Butch Lepley out of Myersdale, Pennsylvania. hooking up all the safety equipment. U.S. Hot Rod officials, that is their #1 priority other than seeing that these crowds get a fabulous show. And it's going to be led off the second half of the final competition here in two-wheel drive pulling by Butch Lepley and the Good and Plenty machine. He's hooked. They've given him the signal. Let's see how he does. Butch Lepley, again, out of Myersdale, Pennsylvania. He's come a long way, baby. Let's see how he does. Gradually easing into the throttle off the line. It is absolutely a beautiful run so far by the Good and Plenty machine. He could have a pull. Oh, they've waved him off. No, he just came up shy. 133 feet is the distance Butch Lepley laid down. The crowd reflecting back over earlier performances, they saw Chris Hogue out of Alberton, Pennsylvania go 138 feet. Right now they're watching as U.S. Hot Rod Association officials clean up the track after some big rut marks were left in there by Lepley's machine and the 1990 Good and Plenty Ranger. They got to get it all cleaned up for the next competitor, who will be Dave Shoemaker out of Stanley, New York. That's a 1938 Chevy truck, and there's an awful lot of technology under that old hood. This is probably one of the more unique pulling vehicles you're ever going to see. Smooth start off the line for Dave Shoemaker out of Stanley, New York in the 38 Special. And I don't believe that that's going to quite cut the mustard. U.S. Hot Rod Association officials say that's it, stop that motor, and he will stop at 121.9½ feet. Coming up now is Sweet Thing 3. This is a roadster driven by Randy Brown out of Camden, North Carolina. Absolutely beautiful start off the line for Sweet Thing 3, driven by Randy Brown. It looks fabulous. Oh, he comes up just a tad bit short. We only have 2 competitors left, and this is the second edition of the McPherson family out of Circleville, Ohio. This is Jeff McPherson, and he will be driving Bean Bandit, a 1990 Ranger. They are signaling him that it's fine to take off whenever you're ready. Jeff, are you ready? So far, so good. He's throwing very little dirt. Wait, it sounds like there might be some kind of problem. There is a definite problem with that machine. But you're looking at one tough cookie. This is Wayne Sullivan out of Warsaw, Kentucky. He's our final competitor here in the two-wheel drive pulling competition, and he says he is going to be tough. Listen to the roar of that motor. It sounds fabulous. Wayne Sullivan out of Warsaw, Kentucky appears to have taken it all the way out of here. He has got a full pull, ladies and gentlemen, 142.2½ feet. And that's going to be a 3-way battle.
When we return, the Final 4 do battle in Tampa. But you want to talk about a war? It'll be a rematch between #2 in the world last year, Barefoot versus Taurus. Don't you dare go away. We're back at Tampa Stadium, and a rowdy crowd of Florida race fans is ready to determine the 2 drivers who will meet for the U.S. Hot Rod Association Superbowl of Motorsports Championship finale. But pulling to the starting line is a race within this race. The 2 drivers who will probably publicly admit more often than any other 2 that they flat don't like each other. #1 and #2 in the world last year, Fred Schaefer in the Barefoot Chevy takes on Jackie Willman and the Taurus Chevrolet. While the Taurus Chevy has proven its worth time and time again, remember Fred Schaefer is debuting a brand new truck here, and we asked him after qualifying how he thought it was running.
I don't know. I really like this truck. It really lands easy compared to my other truck. It's got 24-inch suspension travel, and it lands real easy compared to the other truck. So I'm going to be around for a while. It's got a new suspension nobody's got in the front end. It's a 4-bar from the front with coilovers, and nobody's got that right now, and it takes the shock of the cars, and it's doing real good so far. This is only the 3rd race for the truck, and I feel real confident in the truck. And I've been changing the shocks every week, trying to dial the truck in, you know, to the track and to the rest of the body weight of the truck. And it's been working real well.
Both drivers from the little town of Granite City, Illinois, on the Mississippi River across from St. Louis. Both would kill to win this single race. Despite the fact that this is only the semifinal, anytime these two line up, it's the race for the World Championship all over again. The whole shot goes to Taurus. They move into the turn exactly even. It's an incredible battle, but Barefoot pulls it out in the last quarter track length. The crowd goes crazy, and rightfully so. One of the most incredible single races we have seen this year. He may not look it, but you can bet Jackie Willman is mad. Madder than he's been since the last time he lined up alongside this machine at the end of 1990. Schaefer, a look of smug satisfaction on his face, advances to the final round, but in that man's mind, he may have just cleared the biggest obstacle he had. That will bring up a rather lopsided matchup. You've got the greatest monster truck in the history of the sport, the truck that literally created the sport itself, against one of the newest drivers in this division. Jim Kramer at the wheel of Bob Chandler's Bigfoot, the number 2 qualifier in the far lane. Smarzak in the near lane, the new owner-driver of the Nightlife Chevy. This would be the ultimate upset if the Nightlife Chevy could get around the Big Blue Ford. Staging up, waiting patiently for the green light countdown. The whole shot goes to Kramer. They move into the turn, and Smorzak misses it by a ton. Kramer will sail into the final to take on the world champion in a Ford and Chevy matchup. You can see Smorzak literally overdriving the turn, but you have to give the guy credit. His first major U.S. Hobbit Association National Championship event. He makes it to the semifinals against the top 3 trucks in the Camel Series last year. Not bad for a new guy. So that will pit Bigfoot versus Barefoot in the final round. Ford and Chevy, the 2 winningest monster trucks in history. Everybody's got a favorite, but nobody can wait to see who will pull it off. Jim Kramer, the original monster truck superstar, will take on Fred Schaefer, a driver with whom he has had a rivalry brewing since the mid-1970s. Stay right where you are.
We are back in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, and it is down to 3 in the pull-off between Missouri Raider, Flashback, and Tough Cookie. We spoke with one of the competitors earlier. Kris Hoke is one of 3 that will be in today's 2-wheel drive pull-off. Kris, what's your strategy going to be?
We're just going to try and do what we did before and hope it works.
What kind of motor do you have out front?
It's a Keith Black Hemi motor.
Do you think that big motor is going to be enough to get you a full pull?
We hope so.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And obviously confident Kris Hoke and the Flashback machine. He had the second longest pull earlier in the night. Now he's shooting for the number 1 spot. Hoke is hooked. He is ready. He's been given the green flag. Let's see how he does. Looking good so far. He's getting great traction off the start. Kicking all the way into that accelerator at this time, and that was an absolutely fantastic run by Kris Hoke, 135.5 feet. Let's take a look at that picture-perfect run one more time. Very little dirt being thrown here. You can tell he's got the traction he needs to take it. 135.5 feet. Dick McPherson out of Circleville, Ohio, puts the pedal to the metal, and he is off. Absolutely beautiful run by Dick McPherson in the Missouri Raider. Let's look at it one more time. He starts to throw way too much dirt off the line. He's going to come up a couple feet short. 133.1 is his distance. Wayne Sullivan, one of our veteran pullers on the U.S. Hot Rod Association's tour, carefully backs the tough cookie machine to that sled. They're making sure everything is right on the other end. The green flag is waved. And one tough cookie is headed down the track. Looks like an absolutely beautiful run. I didn't see any problems with it. I don't know what the measurement's going to be. A little afterburn coming off the motor there. That may have cost him. The crowd anxiously anticipating his distance. On the replay, you can see Sullivan has a fine start off the line, but apparently towards the end, something goes wrong in the engine block. His distance, 133 feet even. And here are your final results. Finishing in the #1 position, Flashback, followed closely by the Missouri Raider, and rounding out the top 3, Tough Cookie.
The final round of the U.S. Hot Rod Association Super Bowl of Motorsports will pit not only two arch rivals, not only Ford versus Chevy, but two of the original monster truck machines. The Camel World Championship points fund, $150,000, is on the line for the 1991 season. They're ready. It's side by side going into the turn. But Bigfoot takes down a pole. Bret drives away, and it's Chevrolet taking the victory. The world champion Barefoot defeats the Bigfoot Challenge. The fans can't believe it. The world champ shows exactly why he is the world champ. And Jim Kramer gets upset by the man who wants to win the second Camel World Championship in a row for Chevrolet. There's a man who has accomplished his task. Bret not one to show his emotions visually, but you can bet that deep inside, he is probably as happy now as he was at the end of 1990 when he won the Camel World title at the final event of the season. Simply incredible job. While Bret Shaver's main objective is to repeat as the world champion, certainly this event at one of the single biggest races in all of monster truck racing has got to be a great prize.
This is one of the granddaddies, Bret. This is the one that really meant a lot to me, and you're right.
Probably more importantly, though, was the people that you beat on the way.
That's correct. All the big names was here, and Barefoot stood out among them all, and that was real important. Certainly everybody by now knows about the rivalry between you and the Taurus group, and then to beat the original monster and the winningest of all time had to make it that much better. Yes, it did. The Bigfoot 9's a fast truck, and it's really an honor to get to beat those two guys in the finals. In the final round, did you have any idea that Jim Kramer had already taken out a pylon on his turn and was really disqualified at that point? I didn't even know he was in the other lane. I raced my own race. I didn't have time to look over there, obviously, and no, I did not know that. How about in the semifinals? Did you do anything different against Jack Wellman and Taurus than you normally would have? No, I just tried to drive a good race without making a mistake, because when you race somebody like those guys, the least little mistake costs you the race. And I might admit that in that particular battle, really neither driver made any mistakes. Like I said, I didn't know that either. I'm anxious to see the video. It will be interesting. Congratulations, though. Great job. Thank you very much, Bret.
Thanks, Bret. And earlier here in the Spectrum in Philadelphia, we saw some of the most awesome two-wheel drive pulling competition in the history of the sport. The flashback Chevy S10 driven by Kris. He is the grand champion here at the Spectrum.
Like any other form of sport, there are rivalries in monster truck racing brewing with intensity. And like anywhere else in sport, those rivalries are far from over. Here at the Super Bowl of Motorsports, an incredible event in Tampa, Florida, I'm Bret Kepner. Thanks for being with us. This has been a GRB Entertainment production in association with ESPN.